Good morning. Hi, Susie from Virginia. Good to see you as always. And Deb's got a cold Arizona. It's 46 degrees there. You'll have to excuse me, Deb, if I don't feel really sorry for you, okay? And Linda, my Michigander friend, how are you this morning? Oh gosh, it's going to be a good morning. What we've got going on this morning is we are doing to our Freedom Edge hearts. These templates are hearts that I absolutely love. Morning, Carla from Oklahoma. They are different in the fact that it is a complete heart as opposed to the half heart that we have with our regular heart sets. Okay. The other thing that is different is this heart has a really soft turn up at the top as opposed to that sharp turn with our regular hearts. Now, let's just go over these just a little bit. I want to show you some of the things that these templates can do. And then I'm going to show you a couple different ways that we're going to use them, but mostly we are going to work with the edge to edge idea this morning. Okay. So Lois is here from Delaware. Good morning. And Teresa, hello from Seattle. Sandy is here from Florida and hopefully all cleaned up or pretty much cleaned up from the hurricanes down there. I know those things don't happen overnight. Oh, hi, Kim. I'm so glad you can make it. And Lee, good morning to you as well down in Indiana. We are going to have a great time today. I don't know if you hear Tippy here. She's looking for my attention, which is what she likes to do. So let's go ahead. Christina, oh, thank you so much, Christina. I really appreciate that. And Christina's here from Sweden. It's so good to have you. Mary Lou's here from Venice, Florida. Oh, you guys are just, everybody almost is in warmer climates than me, I think. But that's okay. I call the bad weather good quilting weather. So anyway, what we've got here on our Freedom Edge hearts is we have a lot of markings. And when So Steady was looking at this template, one of the things that as educators that we do is we get the templates ahead of time, basically no markings and no instructions. So we really have our opportunity to run these through the mill and come up with ideas and thoughts. Of course, this one just it lends itself beautiful to an edge to edge design. And that's the first thing I'm going to show you this morning. The thing though that was kind of concerning to me when I first got this template was I wanted to see more markings on it. I wanted a center vertical, which we have right here. This is our vertical center. I'm going to pull you up and in just a little. Now, this vertical line and this vertical line will intersect with this horizontal line. And the purpose of that is to show you exactly where your needle is going to be. So your needle is going to fall here at the beginning, here at the end, or vice versa, depending on whether you like to stitch left to right or right to left. Um, okay, let's see who else has come in. Oh, Vera's here from Utah. Good morning, Vera. Oh, rainy day. Kim tells us it's gonna be a rainy day in Atlanta. Quilting is definitely on her agenda. Girl after my own heart, Kim. Just absolutely love that. Okay, so the reason that I wanted to see this vertical center was simply because if we're doing edge to edge, a lot of times we end up starting or ending at a center. Okay. Now let's take a look at some of the measurements of this template. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 1 inch mark right here and right here on those vertical lines where our needle is going to be. And what you're going to see is there's exactly 3 inches here. Okay, so it's going to be 3 inches from needle to needle. So if you have something that you want to do a frame on, for example, I'm going to show you how we figured that out as well. Now, our heart itself is not quite as wide. And if I hold up my my ruler here on my template, you're going to see that the heart itself is 2 inches. And that's where the 2 inch heart comes from on this template. It is 3 inches and it is 3 inches tall finished. Okay. Now, our other template is a little different looking, and I'm going to go ahead. I think what I'm going to do is get it turned right side around here so you can read it. Okay. What we have is a two-piece, actually. It's the heart itself, which is 2 inches by 2 inches. Or I'm sorry, it is 3 inches by 2 inches. Yes. So 2 inches this way, and we're going to go 2 inches, but by adding this, it goes ahead and comes in a little farther, comes out a little farther. So we're going to cover that. Again, though, we have this awesome vertical center to our heart, and that's going to help us to line up this flourish. The other thing that we have on here for markings is where the last rotation is going to fall. To me, that is so helpful. Now, on the first template that I showed you, you only need staple tape on the back of it. Okay, this is a symmetrical design. So depending which way we put it, it's going to be the same either way. However, we are going to be flipping this template over and sideways. So we want to make sure that we have staple tape on both sides of this template. Okay, so this is template 2, and this is the one that we want to have staple tape on both sides. Now, I want to show you just real quickly one of the things that we did when this was first announced, this template. This is one of the designs that I put together. This has been one of my more favorite designs. If I have more favorite designs, it's kind of like kids. Everybody is your favorite, right? But sometimes you like, the one who cleans the bathroom up after they're done is your more favorite for the day. Okay. And this one, what I did was I used curly cues in here. I used a regular heart in here. And this is where you're really going to see the difference is in this point of the heart. And with the Freedom Edge, it is nice and soft. It is a much less defined dip into the center of the heart. I also added some free motion in here. And what you'll see here is I actually use this as a frame. I use these templates for this center that I put together. So what I did was I made sure that my frame was in multiples of 3. So this is 9-inch square and 3 rotations adequately covered that frame perfectly, okay? And this is the little flourish that comes out on the template number 2. So what do you say we get to it? And as I'm pulling stuff in here, let's see who else has arrived, okay? Pat's here from Illinois. Good morning, Pat. And Bev has gotten in here from Dryden, Ontario. And Sandy is here. Good afternoon, Sandy, from South Africa. I think you are probably the furthest one away this morning, Sandy. Welcome. It is so good to have you. And if you are in South Africa, I believe this is your summer as opposed to our winter. Judith is here from Kentucky. Good morning, Judith. It is so good to see all of you here. I really, really enjoy watching you guys interact with each other and how it's become such a friendship on this platform. I really love this. Okay, let's talk a little bit first about how I marked this big piece of fabric. And it's a big piece of fabric because it's a pretty big design. Well, look at who's here. Good morning, Nancy. And Nancy just lives a few miles up the road. Oh, Diane is here from Florida. Welcome. So good to see you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I marked this out. Now, this is the design that we're going to do, the edge to edge design. And this design is good for almost every batting that's out there. Okay. And I say that because batting is rated. So some battings will tell you that you have to stitch within 4.5 inches of a previous stitch line in order for it not to ball up when it is washed. I don't know if any of you remember, but when I was a kid growing up, we got comforters from J.C. Penney's, and this is nothing against J.C. Penney's, okay? It's just what we had in our town. And they were just gorgeous until that first washing. And then all of the batting would ball up into the balls in the corners. And that's because it wasn't stitched close enough. If it's stitched close enough, that won't happen. And today's battings are much better than the ones used back then. Uh, I guess I would be considered an antique because that was quite a while ago. Okay, so what we're going to do here is this from here to here is 3 inches. Okay, that is the height of our template stitched out, and that is this template. So what I have done is I'm going to put one row going in one direction, and then I'm going to turn the second row on its head, so to speak. So what I need is 3 inches from here to here, 3 inches from here to here. I'm going to mark my quilt or my paper, whatever I'm working on, in 6-inch lines. It will accommodate the 3 inches going in let's call this the right direction, and our 3 inches in the left direction. So that is what I have done here on this sample. Now, one of the other things that I like to do, and chances are you're going to be doing this on a quilt, not just a square of fabric. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a seam line here to follow. But I don't have that because I am just stitching out a sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pretend seam line, and I am very good at making pretend seam lines. Okay. Now, the way we know we've gotten this pretend seam line nice and perpendicular to the horizontal seam line is because I use the lines on my ruler to make sure if I've lined up good on this horizontal line, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a good vertical line. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to hold it this way so you folks can see better, okay? And here is my lining. This is how I'm going to line it up, okay? I'm going to line up this dashed line on my vertical line. I'm going to pull you in a little bit closer so you can see these better. And then I have my vertical. Remember that vertical dashed line that we talked about a minute ago? What that's going to do is when these two, when this vertical line and this horizontal line intersect, that is exactly where our needle is going to go. Okay, so we're going to stitch up, around, and back down. So let's go ahead and get started here. Whoops. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know how to do this without ever hitting that camera on the arm of the camera. I know that it's going to happen. I hate when it happens. Oh, okay, here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and I like to put my foot and my needle down in a wide open space like this because it just makes it easier to move around. When we get into a space such as this, moving around is no longer an easy opportunity for us. Okay, we're going to hold it tight. And these two areas right here, you'll notice I have stable tape on those. And the reason that I do is because we want to be cautious coming in and around those two protrusions here, simply because it is easy for our foot to slip under there. And that is what we want to avoid. Okay, so here we go. One stitch in place. There we go. And off we go. Okay, so the areas where you want to be careful is going to be around here. And you'll see that I move my hand here so that I keep this little protrusion down. We're going to slow down coming around there. And because it is a curve or an arc, however you want to call it, it's fine. I like to keep my stitches just a little bit shorter. And I want to slow down coming around here. I'm going to move it. There we go. Put my foot down. I'm going to just make sure that my template is correct, and it is. And now we're going to come to that other area where the foot is, or the needle is going to touch that line. Now we don't have to take this out. We're just simply going to slide it over. Okay, let's see who else has made it in here since I looked last. Okay, Diana's here from Florida, along with Nancy. Karen's here from Missouri. Di, it's so good to see you. Don't worry about the time. You always can go back and look at the um, videotape, okay? And we have that on Facebook. We also have that on YouTube. Okay, now the other thing I want to remind you before I forget, if you choose to purchase these templates today and you put in deal day 20 on the coupon code, you will get 20% off. Okay, just so that you know that. Good morning, Eleanor. Oh, thank you. Watching and learning. That is awesome, isn't it? Okay, so now I've just slid that template over and you can see how beautiful this etching is. We want to make sure that we keep that there. One of the other things when we're looking at our templates, for me, it's a little difficult because I have a camera right here. Okay. It's kind of right in my way, right where I normally look. But what you'll want to do is kind of get over the top of the template more. You don't want to be sitting way back far in your chair. And the reason being is because these lines are etched on the back side of the template. And if you're sitting further away and looking at it at an angle, like I am here or like the camera is, what you're going to see is this line and this line of stitching, the line on the template and the line on the stitching don't look like they're lined up at all. And they don't. But if we come over and look at it from the top, you will find out that they are lined up perfectly. Okay. So try to look down from the top as much as you can. Don't be afraid to stop. You might even need to stand up to look down on them. And if you do, just consider that a little bit of physical activity. Okay. Then we don't have to go to the gym, right, Nancy? Oh, Nancy and I are gym buddies, okay? And she'll call and say, "Are we going to the gym tomorrow, or do you want to go to the gym tomorrow?" And I'll say, "I don't want to, but I think we better." Okay, so here we go. Come all the way around, and we are going to stop on that line. We're just going to move it over one more time. Line it up again. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that a beautiful? Just this in and of itself will make an awesome, awesome border design. Okay, there we go. We're up and around. And remember how I said that the point of the heart or the dip in the heart is not pointy like our heart set. It's got a nice, soft, rounded edge to it. And I really like that. I think that in some cases, it is definitely the way to go. Okay, so now I'm going to come here, and that's all that I have room for on this one. And we're just going to stop. And remember, this is a practice piece. I'm not going to bury threads. I'm just going to cut them off. And there we go. Well, goodness. I've only had these scissors for 25 years. You'd think they can't be dull yet, right? Okay, so there would be an awesome border treatment. I really, really like that. Okay, Patsy's here from New Mexico. Prineville, Oregon. Oh, Deanna is only 130 miles from So Steady in Eugene. And Merry Christmas to you as well. Jean is here from Newfield, New York. Good to see you, Jean. And Alice is here from Haxton, Colorado. I am learning names of cities I never knew existed. Okay, so now we have got our first row in. So what we're going to do now, you can do this many different ways. What you can do is start at a half of a rotation here. and so that you will have these offset. Or you can do a full rotation, and this is the look you will receive with that. Okay? The advantage to that is that it's going to give you this shape right here. If you want to template, this is a great place to template right there. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do one lined up flush, and then we're going to go ahead and I will do one with it staggered. As soon as I drink some caffeine. Okay, so I am lining everything up here. I want to get my spacing gauge out simply because this looks a little shy of 1/4 of an inch. And what I want to get happen here is I want it, yeah, it's a little shy. I want to get it as close to 1/4 inch as possible, right there. Okay, so now I know that I need to line myself up here. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I want these hearts to just kiss on top. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull my thread up. Oh, hello. Temple wanted to go with it. Okay, and here we go. Making sure I'm totally lined up on my horizontal line. And And you'll see I've got a lot of plowing going on, and that is because I don't have a lot of extra fabric on the side here. And there we go. We come down here, let go of those threads now. And there we go. A little less manic there on the stitching, hey? And make sure your needle is down. Go ahead, and I'm just gonna whoops, I'm sorry, I did it again. Okay, so these are the areas that you want to check here. When you're coming on your second row, this heart should fall right under this line. This bottom should fall under the bottom line. This center should center with the previous line of stitching. And with all of those things being equal, we are ready to do the second rotation here. Get rid of some thread first. Okay, and off we go. Okay, that didn't work out so well. Okay, let's go ahead. We can recover from that. I'm not worried about that. But this is why we never take our hands off of our templates when our needle is moving, guys. See, I did that on purpose, just as a teaching moment. Okay, I didn't. And there we go. And we're gonna come down and we're gonna go one more time here, okay? And we gotta do smushing if we need to smush. It's okay. You can smush. There's no law against it. And there's no quilt police telling me I can't do it. And around we're gonna go. And there we all the way back to the bottom and stop. Kneel down. Now all you have to do is literally turn this around. Okay. I'm just going to do one or two to show you how cool that is. So what happens here is we have our center, vertical center, will line up with the heart up here. Let me take you up a little higher so you can see that. Okay. Here's our vertical center. Here's the center of our heart. So we're going to line that up. Okay. This is going to line up as well. And we may have to do some smooshing. Now, the reason that we have to do smooshing, okay, is it makes sense. It just does. What happens is as we stitch, our fabric is being drawn in so that each time it gets drawn in, it gets a little smaller. So on every subsequent row, what we need to do is compensate for that. And the way we compensate for that is we smoosh. That's the technical term for it. Smoosh. Okay. Other people might say adjust your fabrics. I think smoosh is just funner to say. I really do. Okay, and around we're going to go. And we are now going to come back and come up exactly where that top row was. I'm going to do one more of these. Okay. And you can see what's happening here is you are covering a whole lot of real estate in not so much time. It's going rather quickly. Okay, I think the hardest part is the marking because this is definitely not difficult. Now, another question I might give you is when I am doing a big project like this, I don't go through and mark every one of my lines prior to starting to stitch. And the reason is because of what I just talked about, the fabric drawing in as we stitch our designs on them. Okay. So what will happen is you will end up here, and I'm going to back it up just a little bit. You will end up with this line. This is the third line being in a spot different than where you actually want it to be. So what I like to do is I will go through two lines of stitching like this, then I will draw that third line that just, and all it is it's a line for lining up our template. Okay, and there we go. And we definitely want that line to be there. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you about, and we've mentioned this before, is the dimension that that line has. That line, even though it's narrow and it's nice and crisp, it still has dimension. And so that little bit, say 1/16 of an inch, two lines, it's going to be 1/8 of an inch. Two more lines, it's going to be 1/4 of an inch. Two lines, 1/2 of an inch. So you see how it can compound itself quite quickly and get totally out of control. And we do not want to be out of control. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and snip those threads. Isn't that pretty? It is just a really, really nice all over design, isn't it? The sound is cutting out in Facebook. I am so sorry, Di. I don't know what's happening there. I really don't. Okay. Rhonda, another Michigander, welcome from White Lake. And Lisa's here from Sugarland, Texas. Hi, Lisa, my friend. So good to see you. Okay, so the foot that I'm using, Abigail, is the Sew Steady Westerly ruler foot. okay? And it is made specifically for using with these templates. And even for free motion, I use this foot. Our needle sits down in the center of the foot. And from the needle to any portion on this foot is a quarter of an inch. And that's how we can go in so many different directions on our templates and come out with this beautiful design. So it is a westerly ruler foot from sewsteady.com. You can get one there. And when you go to order, what you will need to know is your make and model of your machine because we have high shank, medium shank, low shank, slant shank, and we need to make sure that you get the one that's appropriate for your machine. Okay? I hope that helps answer your question, Abigail. Carla. Okay, Carla has this question here. Let's take a look at it. Let's everybody take a look. If I can, there we go. Okay, would it work to cross stitch at the bottom of the heart instead of rounding the corner? Carla, I'm not sure I fully understand that. Um, Are you talking about putting these 2 together here? Because that would work, yes. I don't think it would be as nice because it's not going to bring you out to the next design. So, I'm really not so sure about that. But if you can explain it a little better, a little deeper, I shouldn't say better, but just a little deeper. Yeah, you could cross stitch the bottom of the heart instead of rounding the corner. That I'm not sure, Carla. Okay. Oh, Sarah's here. Good morning, my daughter. Oh, she invited Abby here. Abigail, so you're from Michigan too, or Wisconsin. Welcome. So good to have you. And she wants to see my sewing upstairs and my stash. Yes, absolutely, Sarah, is no problem. Many of you know about my sewing area. I actually have a two-bedroom apartment that I use as my sewing studio. The living room is where I do my sewing. One bedroom is my cutting and storage room. Another bedroom is my embroidery room. I also have a full-size walk-in closet that's full of fabric right now. Yeah, it's way too much. Okay, Debbie says she always has trouble with Facebook, so she's decided to stick with YouTube. Okay, thank you, Deb, for letting us know that. I personally don't get to see them as they're happening. Okay, so Carla, going up the side of the heart and coming down the side you've been going up, does that help explain? Up oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, that'd be kinda cool. I'm gonna try that, okay? And I will let you know how that works out. So instead of going around the corner at the bottom of the heart, go straight to the opposite side. Okay, thank you, Patsy, that does help too. That's cool idea. But what we would have to do is we would have to so coming from here over to here, come down, and then come back up. Let me work on that, Carla. Let's see what we can come up with on that, okay? I will let you know for sure. All right, so this is what we have for a big edge-to-edge design. What I want to show you next is what's going to happen if we offset our heart, okay? And I'm gonna make this pretty quick, and the reason why is I really wanna get to the other Um, I wanna get to the other template, okay? I'm just gonna back you up here. I wanna make sure everybody can see well, right? Don't forget, we have deal day 20, and that is for anyone who's interested in purchasing these templates today only. Because I am showing them on my live, you will get a 20% discount. Okay, there we go. Now we're just gonna come up and around and down. We're gonna go. And I just ran out of bobbin thread. Okay, so I'm gonna grab another bobbin here. You know, I was kind of afraid of that because I'm still using the bobbin that used last night. So I want to get a bobbin with as much thread on it as I can. This is good. This is a great way to use up bobbins. I'm telling, seriously, you know. Okay, now, oh, I did not use up my bobbin. My foot must have come loose. One of the perils of the vintage machine. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull my thread and my bobbin thread back up here. Going to go ahead and put my needle down about a stitch and a half in from where I ended. Okay, so I'm going to have a little bit of an overlap here. Okay, I'm going to come down. And what I'm going to do right here, because I am in the middle of a heart, I'm just going to take a couple small stitches. I'm going to then make sure my needle is down. And I'm going to reset my foot. And we are off and running again. There we go. Now, obviously, if this was not just a practice piece, I would be burying that thread and it would be a seamless transition. Okay. And we're going to go over. There we go. And let's do another one. And you'll see we're going to come right into the portion that falls between, halfway between the previous rotations, the previous row. And around we're going to go. And come back. And this is going to be a totally different look. Same template, but looks totally different. Is there one that's better than the other? I don't think so. I think I love them all. Okay, one more time. Oh, I need to. There we go. I'll get you guys back to see well. Okay. Don't forget to hold that protrusion down just a little bit here. And around we're gonna go. Remember to keep those stitches just a tad shorter when you're going around a curve. It's going to give the illusion of the curve being smoother. And we're going to do 1/2 of a rotation here, and then we're going to switch over to the other template, okay? And so we're going to come around, and where I'm going to stop is when my needle hits that vertical center dash line up here, and right there, okay? So let's go ahead and pull that out. And you'll see it's a totally different look, but it is fun. It really is. So you could do anything you want with these designs, and everyone has an idea that's going to work. Okay. I don't know. I kind of like this a little bit. I think it adds a lot of interest. So that is that one. Oh, Kathy, not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, here we go. Now, the next one that I am going to show you is, I need to grab one of my practice sandwiches here. We're going to put that one away. And we're going to take a look at this guy here. Okay. Let me go ahead and get the line going here. And this guy is, again, he is so versatile. I love to use these for borders. That is just my favorite way. Okay. And there we go. We're just going to do one line here. Oh, excuse me. Had to get that caffeine in me. I think you guys know that I do caffeine in the morning. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's our pretend seam lines, right? Now, what we're going to do is we are going to use this, going to do a half. I'm going to do a half of a heart to start with. Let me pull out. I don't need to do a half a heart, but I want to. And this is the one we're going to be looking at right here. And you'll see how nice these work. Okay. Now, the reason I'm doing a half a heart, because very seldom do our quilt blocks ever come out to make a perfect size. All right. Need to put my foot down, and we're going to follow up. This, and I should have used my spacing gauge, is 1/4 of an inch. You know, the longer that you work with these rulers and templates, the easier it's going to be to just eyeball that 1/4 of an inch. So I lived kind of dangerously there, just eyeballing it. Whoa, I'm so sorry. But as you can see, it came out just where I needed it to be. Hi, Jean. Can you back up the camera? Okay, Lee, thank you. There we go. Yeah. I don't have my helper here on Wednesday mornings. It's just me and my dog. Oh, one gal show, right? What can I say? Okay, so there's my half a heart. And there we go. I'm going to turn this around because I want you to be able to see this well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of my heart and go into my flourish. I'm going to line up this vertical dashed line here, which is going to give me exactly where I need to be. I am also going to keep my vertical or my horizontal line even. And we're going to come around and we're going to come up and stop here. Okay. So far, so good, right? On you. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my heart around. When I turn my heart around, You remember me talking about this etched line right here. I want to get you guys moved in. There we go. Di, now is the time. Di says this is the template she's been waiting to get. Now is the time. You can get 20% off today by using Deal Day 20 in the coupon code. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and you see how this lines up perfectly. All right. And now I'm going to do my complete heart. And this is why we need to ensure that we have stable tape on both sides. We're going to come back to where we began, needle down. We're going to go ahead and come out of there. And we are going to flip this over now. There is a lot of flipping on this one, okay? But I know you guys can do it. And we're going to line up. Now, I want you to see how I'm lining this up. What I want to do is I want to make sure that, whoops, I dropped my scissors. What a surprise. Those of you who are new, I drop a lot of things. Actually, if you look up klutz in the dictionary, you'll see my name there. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make sure, and now I need to back up a little bit, that I have my 1/4 inch right there, which I do, and I'm lined up on everything where I need to be. And now we're going to come back down to our pretend seam line. Okay. Now, this channel, and I call this a flourish just simply because I don't know what else to call it. This flourish channel is not like our circles on quilts, guys. This holds that foot in nice and tight. It does not give us wiggle room. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put our heart back on. I'm going to turn it around again. Make sure that you've got a good vantage point. I need to get a better camera. Okay. I've got everything lined up. There we go. Remember, look at how everything looks so cattywampus here when it really isn't. It's just the way that the camera sees um, where the camera sees things from being back. Okay, Maria has a question. Do you have to choose a side of the flourish to follow, or is it a pretty snug fit? Okay, Maureen, yep, that's what we just talked about. It is a snug fit. It is not like our circles on quilts. We don't pick one side or another. And it still moves through the design. The foot moves through the design beautifully. It really does. Getting behind on my caffeine here, guys. Okay. So I'm just going to go over the top here because I want to make sure I'm all lined up. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and make another heart. And around we're going to go. Remember to keep those stitches just a little bit shorter. Come back down to the bottom. And put that foot down, or that needle down, I'm sorry. Now we're going to come here. Now again, I'm going to flip, and now you'll see why we need that staple tape on both sides. Okay, line everything up, and up we go with our flourish again. All right, so now if we were at a corner, what we would do, oh my goodness, I forgot how I did that. Okay. So, oh, because I want to get on the other side. That's why. Okay. Disregard. Oh, sometimes I don't think I'm awake. Okay, so now we're going to flip this upside down, and this is where everything we want to make sure everything is lined up here, which it is beautiful. And around, and we're going to come back up to the tip here. Okay, good. Now we're going to go ahead and put that flourish on. We're going to flip, turn and flip, turn and flip. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do my flourish in a different direction. Okay, I want to turn it around. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around this way. And the reason I'm doing that is I am going to turn a corner here. So I'm going to come around on my flourish. And come back over this way. I've got to come upside down with this one. It's an awkward turn, but it can be done. And this is kind of what it looks like. I should have put my heart down facing up here, but it gives you an idea of what we have done in here to make that turn. Okay. Like I said, it's a little awkward, but it can be done. So this is our second template. Actually, yeah, this is our template 2. Okay. And here it is. Just going to pull this aside here. Here it is where I used it with all 4 parts facing in. And I took the flourish, made the corner, took it here and made the corner. Now the question is, can I do this with the heart on this corner? And the answer is yes, it certainly can be done that way. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and just throw that out of the way here for a minute. And let's, I'm just dropping things like crazy today, guys. Seriously. Okay, so let's take a look at how we add our second row. This template, the other one was 2 inches by 3 inches. This template is 2 inches by 2 inches. So to make that second row, we want to go up 2 inches from where we started. And remember, we don't want to do these rows all at once because our fabric is going to shrink up as we are doing them. So now what we can do is like the other one. We can come in there's 2 inches there. So we can come in here and we're gonna go 2 inches here and 2 inches here. So what I'm doing here is looking at how we can offset these designs. Okay. Yes. I think that this table runner is a class in the university. Okay. And I can show you more of it. Let me do some adjusting here. Look at the mess I've got on my table. So this is one of the blocks. There we go. You can see a little better. This is one of the blocks. And this is another one of the blocks. And as you can see, just in case you didn't notice, it is all about the hearts. And of course, this is the one that I've been showing. Okay. So yeah, this class, I'm pretty confident it is in the university. You know, the other day Stacy asked me how many classes I have in the university. I have absolutely no idea. One of these days I should go in and count them. I know it's a lot. Although I hope you haven't noticed, but, or maybe you have noticed, I'm not sure. I have slowed down a little bit because of doing the live Zoom classes. Absolutely love doing the live Zoom classes in January. On January 15th, I'm gonna have an information well, it's actually gonna be a teaser because we're gonna do a log cabin project. Debbie said it is a class, and she made the table runner as her first ever project, and it turned out beautifully. Deb, I am not surprised by that at all. You know, my husband affectionately dubbed Debbie Pool Cactus Deb because our daughter lives down in Glendale as well. And Debbie keeps telling me what a beginner she is, but the truth is the caliber of her work is not that of a beginner, but as someone who has been doing this for a very long time. So, Deb, don't sell yourself short, okay? All righty, so I'm going to pull back down here a little bit. We're going to take a look at this off center. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my first whole heart in upside down. Okay, now I have to, always want to start at the tip too, by the way. You always want to start up here. And we actually need to put this guy in there, but we're only going to put half. Let's put our heart first. We can come back later and we can put that flourish in after the fact, okay? Only because I'm not really sure. I'd have to work out the absolute area that has to be as to where we would go in here. Well, goodness. There we go. Wow. That did not wanna cooperate this morning. Okay. If my daughter wasn't watching, I would probably say something derogative about children at this point. Since she is, I'll keep my mouth shut. Okay, take that first stitch in place. Let's go ahead and come around, and you'll see I am just whoops, I moved my template here, guys. I'm trying to hold the thread, and I shouldn't be. There we go. We are just kissing the top of that previous row. I'm going to come back to the center bottom. I'm going to make sure we've got our foot or our needle in our fabric. Okay, going to get this out of the way here. And now we want to have our flourish in this direction right there. So what it's going to do is it is going to come from the bottom of the heart to the bottom of the heart. Okay, so here we go. Let's made a little jump there. Should have been more careful. Well, that's just me. I am so good at toe catcher. I'm a toe catcher expert. Okay, and then we're gonna come get that needle up. All righty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put my heart in. And we're going to see that we have these beautiful edge lines right here to follow. Okay. And do a little smooshing. That's all right. And around. And I do believe my foot just got loose. Let's see if I can make it around the heart without any issues. I'll be so happy if I can get that far. You'll notice when the foot cuts loose, slow down. That does help. That will help if your foot is a little high and you slow down. There we go. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our needle channel. And this time we want to flip our flourish up this way. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. Okay. And there we go. And we're going to put our heart upside down. Now, over here, we made a half a heart. Okay. So now we have to make a half a heart up here in order to finish off the design. Now, there we go. Now this can be done in a rather narrow column, which would be an awesome border if you wanted to go just this way up. I think I really do like that. Um, I like it stitched with the hearts opposite. There's so many different ways that we can do this. And if you watch for Valentine projects that should be coming up soon on the So Steady University, I'm sure you'll find a few things with hearts on them, right? Hi, Jalu. Good morning. All right. Diane, I am using the beautiful 301, but it is not a low shank ruler foot. The 301 is a slant shank machine. However, just so you're aware, So Steady does make a ruler foot for the slant shank 301. Awesome. Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's what we've got for you this morning. I know Nancy's gonna be here to pick me up to go work out at the gym here in a little bit, so I can't play around here too long. I do wanna mention, though, that this is our last Coffee with Kathy Live for 2024, and, um, that makes me sad, but it also makes me happy that we're going to continue in 2025. We will be doing Monday evenings at 6 p.m. And what we will be doing is stitching out the embroidery designs with templates so that those of you who do not have embroidery machines can use the lookbook for design ideas and actually stitch them out. I am so much looking forward to that. Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Central Time, which is 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, and 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing ruler work. We will be continuing what we have started here. I think it's so much fun. I thoroughly enjoy doing it. And we will continue Coffee with Kathy on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and 6 a.m. Pacific Time. I know it's really early for you guys out on the West Coast. Want to thank you guys though from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate you being here with me. This uh this is this has been a learning experience for me. There's no doubt about it. And you guys have been so gracious. It's so great, and I am so grateful. You let me make mistakes, and you don't judge me for them. For that, I'm thankful. And I do want to make sure to wish each of you a happy holidays for whatever holiday that you are celebrating this month. Um, I can't go through all of them because honestly, I don't know all of them. But I do hope that your holidays are full of happiness, peace, and love. And until we meet in 2025, let's quilt.